to the Gump Report.
I just finished filming my Dynamite review. And I briefly talked about what we're going to talk about. And I got to talk about it. Look, guys. I held off after I heard what happened. As a guy, understand, I don't like putting most of my own life into these types of videos. I don't. Yeah, I've talked about my life. Talked about the things I've gone through on and off throughout videos. But I only do this because when the material is required, I have to at least explain my understanding of it and why I can identify when someone does something bad, someone does something good, or the person who's completely separate, like a viewer like yourself. In this situation for myself, seeing Jeff Hardy basically break his sobriety again, get busted by the police, and understand, when I first found this out, I'm going like, in my bed, I'm watching, I looked at JD and I saw, what, Jeff is in trouble again? I went over to NoDQ.com and a couple of other sites, I can't remember them, but ProWrestling.co, I believe, and I went and checked, and when I saw this, I went, oh, not again, not again. And understand, for me personally, I don't drink. It's not because I'm an alcoholic myself. I grew up in a house with alcoholics. Understand this. How I am alive, living in a house with chain smokers, my mother, my biological father, my half-brother, who is not only an alcoholic, but also a heroin addict. It's hard to talk about my half-brother, my older half-brother. But he was an alcoholic, a heroin addict, and he was a chain smoker with asthma on top of it. I grew up in a house, in an environment where drinking was heavy. I, even as a child, was taken to bars from the age of 6. I was sat down in a stinky, smelly, smoking. If you want to make sure, this is what I do this, I say this for people, and it could still backfire, but if you ever want children to fully understand not to drink, take them into the most smelliest, stinkiest, disgusting bar, sit them in that bar, and make them wait for you to do your business and then leave. Do it for a few months. For me, it was a few years. But the first couple of times, at the age of 6, I could never stand the smell of smoke. I couldn't stand the smell of liquor and throw up. It is not something you want. And I don't drink. The most I've ever drank in my life, 20 times. And that was because people had to convince me to do it. So I don't drink. But I've been around people who drink. Hell, I knew a co-worker one day who was going to drive me home because he knew where I was. And he went to a liquor store, grabbed a bottle of beer, and while we were driving together, talking to me, and I'm going in my head like, oh my, am I going to have a crash right now? Is this guy who I've known for years, I know he drunk, but is stupid enough to get behind the wheel with liquor? Are we going to get pulled over, or are we going to crash? Because I didn't know how much he drank before we left work, because some of my coworkers drank at work. So understanding what happened with Jeff, I know what it's like to be in a car with someone who drank. More than a few times I've been in a car with people who drank, but that one was the one I was most afraid of. So seeing that he was driving a car, we still don't know who car it was. If it was his, how did he get the car when his license is revoked? Understand, this is the third time in 10 years he has got caught behind the wheel. He blew a .0293, I believe, and it's .8. That's all you can get. That's the maximum you can go. He wanted to .293. That's 3 times beyond the limit. On top of that, driving driving with a revoked license, driving intoxicated, and going over the legal limit 3 times over. He got 3 damn things on him. And guess what happened? He basically is suspended from AEW and demanded by Tony to go get help. He will not be able to work. He will not get paid until he gets clean. Now, many people have thought what happened with WWE, that when he had that incident where they were worried that he basically was acting intoxicated, when he had the test, it came back negative. But they were still worried about him. So they fired him. They didn't want to take a chance. Now, I thought maybe he was doing this because he just wanted to get out of his contract. Or I think I briefly said he might be that, but it could have been the other. So I made the mistake. There's a good possibility he was drunk at that time. But I don't know. That could have been either or. Many people say, oh, he wasn't drunk, or maybe he was. Honestly, if he took the test and he passed it, but they still didn't trust him, you wonder what the real truth is with Jeff. Was he really drunk when that incident happened in WWE, or was he not drunk at the time when he took the test? I don't know which one. I don't know. But I do know this, that right now he's off TV. As what happened on this Dynamite, they restructured the match where it was only the Young Bucks and Jurassic Express, where at the end Christian turned on pretty much Jungle Boy. He turned on him. And it's a long overdue turn that should have happened many, many months ago. So I still believe that if the Young Bucks did win, it would have been the Hardys at Forbidden Door that would have probably gotten the win back. And they would have been champions. Or the Hardys would have won there. And the first true challengers would have been the Bucks. I doubt it would have been Jurassic Express because of what happened with Christian turning on pretty much Jungle Boy Jack Perry. I truly believe that they wouldn't have been able to go after the titles after that because of what happened with Jungle Boy being so angry at Christian and getting hurt by him. So, I don't know. I honestly don't know. So, seeing this, what is my thoughts on this? It's screwed up bad. This is very bad. And it kind of makes you wonder because Turner Media demanded that all advertisement for Jeff Hardy stop. Completely stop. And then Tony gave the order to suspend him until he got help, which is a great thing. But then you look at WWE and you look at the Usos of Jimmy and Jay, where they both screwed up, and particularly Jimmy screwed up even worse, made it really bad for Naomi. And what happened?
They didn't get taken off TV, and they won the damn titles.
Really? I hear people say that, and I heard JD say, that I'm glad that WWE was at least willing to try and do something with Jeff. Really? Bullshit. How come they're willing to push for Jeff to get help, but they're not doing it with the damn Usos, where both of them should have been taken off TV no matter what situation they're in, and both of them would have been demanded to go and take basically the 12 steps. The WWE is two-faced. I'm not going to give them no freaking credit. If they were doing what they were doing to try and get Jeff to get help, that doesn't mean they should be taken off the damn hook. They should have done that with the Usos. But what did they do? They let Jimmy continue working. They let Jay continue working. Kiss my ass. JD, I can understand his point of view. He wants to give them at least some type of credit. I'm not going to give them any credit. Because as far as I'm concerned, if you're going to force Jeff to do it, make Jimmy do it. Make Jay do it. Make basically Paige do it. Make anyone else do it that has an issue. Make them do it. Make them stay off TV. If Roman Reigns has a drinking problem, get his ass off TV and try to make the damn show work the way it should be. But you know what? WWE doesn't want to do that. As far as they're concerned, they'll maybe help somebody if they feel generous. They'll leave it for others that they know they can't go without because they have such a bad product right now. I heard that the arena they were going to go to, They only could pack maybe 3,200, maybe near 3,200. And you know how big that damn arena was? 15,000. I think 15,500 to 300. And the most they can get is only 3,000, maybe 200 people. WWE never had it that bad. People are not going to the damn shows. Maybe they'll go to the really special pay-per-views, the signature pay-per-views, but they're not going to the shows. And I don't even know if they're going to even do regular monthly pay-per-views very well. What happens if it goes down to 1,000 people into 5 to 10,000 size arenas? What happens when the WWE can't even get enough people in the arena to even keep it looking good because people are tired of the damn product being the way it is? It's making my scalp itch is that damn bad. I'm going like, what the fuck am I looking at? The WWE is so bad. And I know one of my subscribers always says, and I quote, the WWE always shoots himself in the foot. He also says that for Impact Wrestling. And I agree with him. This shows you how bad WWE is. But it also shows you a situation when it comes to a lot of wrestlers. Honestly, when it comes to Jeff, I'm saying this as someone who lived in a house with chain smokers, a heroin addict, and alcoholics, and was very lucky not to catch the damn bug myself of drinking, smoking, or heroin. I am very lucky. I never caught the bugs. Never. If Jeff fails this time around, let's say he gets the help, the 12 steps he needs, and gets himself a network. He works with maybe Jon Moxley because he just came back himself, and maybe he has him in his network and has a sponsor. Maybe Jon Moxley would be a sponsor, or maybe he'll get the same sponsor as Jon Moxley because Jon has to travel just like Jeff. If this does not stick, and I'm saying this right now, if it doesn't stick this time around, he needs to end wrestling. I don't care that he's still a legend. I don't care if he can still go in the ring. If he cannot stay clean due to the fact of injury or having pain, and the only way to cope with it is to drink, he's done. I will never see him the right way again. If he breaks it again after this, I'm going to keep saying it until he leaves wrestling. Go become a trainer. Become a producer. No more wrestling for Jeff Hardy. Period. I'm done with him. But I am hoping that this does stick. Because, look, Jeff is still able to go. People still love Jeff Hardy. He has something special in him that still draws people in. It's just how Jeff is. They call him a charismatic enigma for a reason. It's because there's something about Jeff that just draws people in, no matter if you're young or you're old. Look at Darby Allin. He gets some inspiration from Jeff just like Sting. There's something about Jeff that's just special. But if Jeff cannot control himself, and I heard just Alex talk about this, and I have heard JD talk about it. I don't know about the Slag Daddy. I don't know about Solomonster or Wrestling Inc. Have not watched them yet. But for me personally, if he cannot keep it together when he wrestles because he can't stand the pain, or maybe he misses his family, or he just wants to hang out and he thinks he can get away with it, he can't wrestle no more. Period. It doesn't make a difference how much knowledge he has or what he can do. He cannot go in the ring no more. Let him be a trainer. Let him be executive producer. Let him be working in creative. Let him work on merchandise. I don't give a fuck. Take him off wrestling. That means WWE can't take him back unless they're going to make him a trainer or an executive producer or being creative or working on merchandise. Same for MLW, for Impact Wrestling, for AEW. I don't care who you are, New Japan Pro Wrestling. If you bring him back as a wrestler, you are enabling him. And I will hate you for it. Because the guy should never wrestle again if he cannot keep himself under control. Because he almost drove away. Guys, if you have not seen the video, go to TMZ and look up Jeff Hardy almost getting guns pulled on him. 3 cops. 2 of them pulled guns on him. He almost drove off, either because he didn't have control of the brake or he actually was trying to drive off, they pulled 9mm on his ass, 2 of them, and the third one, who's walking up, who's the one who talked to him, who had his gun at the side, they would have shot his ass dead if he tried to drive off, because he was that dangerous. This got to end now. If that was his car or not, he cannot ever do this again. If he does, wrestling needs to end, and anyone who allows him to work as a wrestler, you're enabling him, and it's your fault if he goes over the deep end and either kills himself or almost gets arrested or kills somebody else. That's it. But this is just me, and I hope you enjoyed this Gump report. Give me a comment below. I hope you enjoyed this.
I know I did.
Peace.